So today I'm making two delicious wraps, one with just like veggies, beans, and lentil, and the other one with ground beef and some other stuff. So hope you enjoy these recipes. So you need a bag of potatoes. I'm going to use about three, and then the rest I'm going to put in the oven. You need some ground beef, some lentils, some mushrooms, a tomato, 2 onions, 4 garlic cloves, ginger, some kale and parsley, some black beans. Gonna use 2 cans. Did I mention lentil already? Okay, if I didn't, well, some lentils. Oil, I use grapeseed oil, salt, black pepper, crushed chili flakes, garlic, spice, garlic and onion spice, some yogurt and chili sauce for the dressing for the wrap, some curry powder, cayenne pepper, Cajun seasoning, ground turmeric, however you want to call it. Did I say curry already? So curry powder, chili powder, and garam masala. So this is what you need for the two different wraps I'm going to make. So that's it, guys. So let's start. First thing is first, I'm cooking the lentils. So for each cup of lentils, you just have to pour 2 cups of water. So that's what I did, and I just added a teaspoon of salt. So I'm gonna cook it on medium high, and then I'll be checking on it. If it looks like it's getting a bit too dry, I'll just pour a little bit more water on it. So next thing, I'm frying some onions. This is like just 1 onion. I cut. So initially I had 2 onions, but I added 1 more to make it 3. So this is 1 onion that I'm using right now that I chopped, and this is like half a teaspoon of garlic and half a teaspoon of ginger that I chopped as well. So I'm just cooking this to it's a little bit brown, and then I have here some oil. I'm going to fry the mushrooms in here real quick. So I'm kind of doing everything at the same time, multitasking. I'm used to that because I have kids. So okay. So now I'm gonna put the mushrooms in. And I'm gonna wait for this to get a little brown. Then we add some spices. So I've added 2 cans of beans to the onions, the ginger and the garlic, and I just needed to dry up a bit. It's too watery, so I'm gonna cook it till it's a bit dried up, at least maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And mushrooms are looking good. Still waiting for this to brown. I can't make it too high. Don't want it to burn. So all the juice and stuff is what I'm going to use to fry the onions and stuff. So I'm just waiting for it to brown a bit. The lentil is cooked now. I added half a teaspoon of black pepper. When I was boiling, I added the salt, which was a teaspoon of salt, so I don't need to add salt anymore. And that's some garlic, teaspoon of garlic, teaspoon of cayenne pepper, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and a teaspoon of curry powder. So just stir it up. It smells good. So I'm just gonna let it cook a little bit more and dry out a little bit more. So the mushroom is almost done, and I just added half a teaspoon of crushed chili flakes, and half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of chili powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. So just let this cook a little bit more because I just added the spices, and then it'll be done. I love mushrooms. Like, they just go great with everything. So now we just check. See? So you see the juice is coming out. More like oil. That's what we're going to use to fry the onions and the garlic. So just flip it. And then break it up. Cover it a little bit more. Let it cook a little bit more before you break it up some more. So after breaking the ground beef a little bit more, now as you can see, it's really brown now. I've added 1 cup of onion, so that's 1 onion, 1 bell pepper, and I added some spices. Also, and then some garlic. A teaspoon of garlic, a teaspoon of ginger. Then I added half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, and yeah, that's it. That's all I added. So now just stir it up. Let it cook for about 10 more minutes, and then we put it off, because we have to fry some potatoes and add it to it. So we just let it cook for an additional 10 minutes and put it off, put it aside. And when we're done frying the potatoes, we just add that to it too. So got some chunks in there, trying to break. Okay, there we go. So the beans is almost ready. I added half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of crushed chili flakes, or you could use half a teaspoon, and then 1 chicken cube. So it's thickened really nicely. That's what I want. It looks great now. So that's just gonna melt, and I'll just make sure it breaks evenly everywhere. It smells great. Can't wait to dig in. So this is how I cut the potatoes, like wedges, and I added a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, a teaspoon of curry powder, and a teaspoon of Garam masala. And then I added about 3 or 4 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. So I'm going to put it in the oven. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to put it in the oven for about an hour on 270. Maybe I'll make it higher when it's halfway done, to about 300 Fahrenheit, but I'll start with 270. So it's in now. Like I said, I'll just leave it for an hour, but I'll check on it halfway in, like 30 minutes. And then I'll know if I should raise the heat up or leave it. So this is about 3 russet potatoes, a medium size, and I cut them into pieces. So frying it on high heat and When it's done, I'm gonna put it in the ground beef. So I've just put this aside, and then when this is done, I'll just pour it into that. So I've added the potatoes. I like it crispy brown, and yeah, I'm gonna let this cook for like maybe 5 minutes. And I added just a little bit of salt because it wasn't quite there yet. Just a little bit, like half a teaspoon. So yeah, it's looking good, looking great, and it tastes great too. Just needed a little bit more salt. So this is all done. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And we're just gonna wait for the potato wedges in the oven. And while we do that, let's just make the dressing for the wrap. So with that dressing, this is 1 cup of yogurt, and I decided to add Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon, and 1 teaspoon of mayo, a teaspoon of, well, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and you just mix it. And then I put a teaspoon of grapeseed oil. So you can put it in a blender, but it's not necessary really. So I tasted it, and then it was missing something, so I decided to add a teaspoon of cayenne pepper and a pinch of lemon. Just squeeze, see, like I just squeezed just a little bit, and then yeah, just sprinkle some parsley on it as well. So I'm gonna taste it and make sure it's just right. And then the final thing is 1 teaspoon of chili sauce. If you don't have chili sauce, just do ketchup. That'll be fine too. So you can just store this in the fridge and keep using it all week. Let me tell you, this sauce is really good. So, it's all done. Just store it in the fridge for now so everything else is ready and you're ready to do your wrap. So I've got everything ready. The kale and the parsley are all washed properly. You have to wash your vegetables really, really well. And then the fresh tomatoes as well. Wash it really, really good. So here we have the ground beef with the potatoes and the veggies. We have the mushroom. We have the dressing, the beans, the lentils, and then the potatoes. Everything is ready. So the tortilla wrap, I heated it just a little bit. I like it warm. So now I'm gonna put the fillings in, and I'm gonna make 2. One with just one without the ground beef, and one with the ground beef. So this first wrap is with ground beef, some kale, some parsley, some tomatoes, and then the dressing. So this is the one with the ground beef, and then I'll do the next one without ground beef. This wrap is without ground beef, and with this we will be using the lentil, some mushrooms, some beans, some potato wedges, some dressing, and then I sprinkled a little parsley on top of it. So the wraps are done. They turned out great. I hope you try this recipe and let me know in the comment section below what you think. Enjoy!